Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions, back here in Estonia, follow up from last year. If you'd like to see the previous episode, go to sellersessions.com and we'll give you a bit more of a background. So we're going to pick this up as the part 2 from June last year. I'll go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves, but the premise of this show, oh, and by the way, as you can see, my co-host Adam's here, so he'll be asking some questions as well. We're going to have like an open conversation and discuss some of the things where Amazon sellers are faced this year versus what we faced last year, and of course how they problem solve in-house, because they have a workspace here. So a lot of the key big players in the Estonian community operate here, so we've got all of these brains together to resolve stuff. So starting at this end of the table, do you want to do an introduction of yourself?
Hello, my name is Tarmo. I've been Amazon seller for almost 5 years. I sell in body care niche, shampoos and different kind of products like that. So our revenue is about 7 figures, low end 7 figures. So
But still in the 1% of Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hope it gets better.
This is where we can have that discussion.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mihkel, been a seller for 7 years, built a brand, sold it, and now building new brands as well.
Hey, my name is Ivan. I'm Amazon seller for 6 years. One exit, 2 new brands in development.
I'm Egla, his colleague, and we are building. When we had the last exit, now we thought we're going to rinse and repeat, and I hope we get the chance to say that it's not really possible in Amazon space, and what we did to rinse and repeat and actually also succeed, because our next brands have grown to 7-figure plus with like 1.5 years. So like, let's talk about it.
Excellent.
Hi, my name is Ardo. I've been Amazon seller for 5 years. We did about 20 million last year. Hopefully gonna repeat it this year. And yeah, we have here in this co-working space about 17 people working in our team. And yeah, we sell in the beauty category in aromatherapy products.
And of course the adopted cousin as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you want to do an introduction?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so Adam Runquist, co-host on once a month with Seller Sessions, here to speak at the event. First time in Estonia, and I actually just got a behind-the-scenes tour of the space here, and really excited to dive into this with you guys on how you operate and what you guys have built here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the most obvious. Ubiquitous in the community, margin suppression. So let's go round and have an open discussion. How do you operate in terms of dealing with this, with using this many brains around the table? So, Egla, do you want to start?
Oh, sure. We were really flatlining in profitability, and the flatlining, I mean, it was, we built 2 businesses and we saw there are 7-figure businesses with 0 margins. Like, you never want to be there. You just work for pleasure of working. And internally, we seriously had to pivot. We sat together 3-4 times with the team. We thought that what are we doing wrong here? Because what we used to do and what brought us the biggest exit in Estonia actually did not bring any results anymore. So the main focus shift for us was to get away from a product development and actually find a market that we can go and populate with as many 5-figure products as possible. So now we're actually, number one thing is to find a market and then see what can we do in the product side.
So you went market first rather than product level.
Yes, and it used to be always product first.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least for us.
And did you find, you said 5-figure plus, was there a sweet spot where you're like, hey, if we get above or below this, the profitability is really difficult, and like there's sweet spot on like a monthly revenue?
Actually, not really. What we have found to be a winning formula is we are figuring out what is the sweet spot that generates the most velocity on this category, and then Ivan just returned from China from negotiations to see how can we achieve this price point and what velocity do we need. So now we are going market first and also the sweet spot first.
Okay.
We no longer aim to be more like a little bit more expensive than the Chinese sellers. We just want to see like how can we populate the sweet spot.
Yeah. And how did you get there? You mentioned that you found a way. What did you do to get there between the two of you?
oh, we had internal workshops, like we just got like the same room full of food, like full day, we're just brainstorming, thinking like what's wrong, we figure out what's wrong, and not mentioning market when you start out was the biggest mistake. I think we failed like with about 10 products, seriously.
Wow.
So it was like getting to the pain point that am I really so incompetent? So I mean,
we
it
thought
really,
we knew all of it. So.
yeah, it
Do
got
you know what,
really
though?
down
Do you
to
know
me.
it's good for the ego and good for the soul.
Oh,
when you turn it around, right?
MG, yes, my ego is vaporized.
What about you guys? You're doing 8 figures, aren't you? And you've not sold out your business yet.
No,
a lot of exits.
we're not planning to exit it. Like they have done. Our goal has been to grow the business further and like see where we can take it on our own. Of course, we have had like ideas of maybe selling part of the business to find like some sort of a strategic investor who could help us into getting to retail, for example, and this maybe is some opportunity for us. But right now there's no, let's say, buyer behind the door yet at the moment. But so we're still working on our own to get into retail.
Yeah. So were you in the same meetings as these guys here as well when they said get?
No, they did it internally with their team. We haven't done like this sort of brainstorming, I guess, with our team, but still similar. Of course, like you have to also do product development, and we see a lot of competition rolling in as well, and like they're really pushing the prices down and the margins down because of that. And this has made us to also get back to the drawing boards and see, okay, how can we improve on the product in a way that it's more cost efficient? And I think we have come up with a way and developed the product further. So we are soon in actually this month rolling out new product improvements that are which is basically better pricing, better margins for us.
Yeah, among Estonian sellers, we do have like monthly masterminds, so I'm sure like we bring these things up so our colleagues can always learn from what we do.
And what about you guys as well?
For me, the most problematic has been regulatory stuff with our products, because
Regulation,
we have like some health claims on products, and it's borderline medicine stuff. So it's but our practice has been so far, we launch first, and then when the problems occur, then we deal with them. But now we have to deal with them. So, so it takes lots of time. But the other thing is as well is that we have sourced the products to Estonia. We found like a really nice product here that we thought that should sell in United States and everywhere. But now we're also like looking other stuff from other countries. To sell.
Mike, how have you been dealing with the margin suppression?
Oh, so we have had many problems in the last 1.5, 2 years. So we sold the business, started a new one, made a really unique difference in the product, and started anew. And by the end of the second week, we were selling like $3,000, $3,500 a day in the first product. So we were like, yay, 100K a month, first month.
Here we go.
And then you get the defect, right? And so that happens. You know, unique product, you get the defect. Then we relaunched it, got a defect again. So that was hard. So I would say we were in the minus for quite a long time. But now it's third relaunch has been very successful, and you know, now it's interesting if you build like a little bit more unique product and you have very good branding to it. It's the highest priced product on the market, but it still earns like 20-30% margins. So in a 6-figure per product market.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I think I had just a follow-up question. I'm really curious in your situation, but really across the board. I think pay-per-click, I would say in the last 24 months, has really become a necessary evil, and probably the largest cost center outside of factory cogs.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I think that you've got, especially in hyper-competitive markets where there's a lot of money on the table, there's a lot of the competitors that will, hey, I'll just not make money for a year. And like, I'll bleed everybody else out, we'll swim into deep waters, I can hold my breath longer than you, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
A companion to this is, Danny did a really great analysis last year, basically showing that how much price drives organic performance on the top of SERP. And basically, it's the people that run razor-thin margins, 5-8% margins, and then they don't have to spend on pay-per-click. That's their way to solve it. So I'm just curious how you guys have tackled the pay-per-click challenges. We've seen that Obviously, organic SERP has changed quite a bit over the last couple of years, especially if you've been selling for 6 years. You might have been able to just live off of organic. Now that's not the case. I just round the table, how are you guys dealing with pay-per-click environment? Maybe we'll start with you, because I think yours is interesting.
Yeah, definitely long and interesting topic. Definitely ACOS levels have increased as the cost per click has been increasing. And it's like, it's a pain to watch those ACOS levels. But like it's a necessary evil, as I said. I mean, you want to be in this game and you have to spend the money to remain in the game. So we have been trying to just keep our ACOS levels in like where we can, but it's really tough, and we rather are looking to not be selling as much in total numbers in order to just not to bleed money.
Yeah. We're I'm spec something out for Ellis. He said it's going to take too much processing power, but it's coming down now. What I've been looking at, and based on the A9 knowledge and stuff I have, is we know the top 3 take most of it. We know it's a graveyard off page 1. I think one of the most pertinent things is, are you picking the right keywords
Yes.
to attempt to rank?
Yes.
And what does it take to say go from 15 to 10 down to 5? What is realistic? So there's a lot of probability factors and stuff in there. I've set up a load of calculations for Ellis, and we've been testing bits and pieces. So we're trying to build something in-house for our clients. So you're making more informed decisions after the keywords that you're targeting. Still to this day, people are getting keywords wrong.
Agreed.
They're going after the wrong ones.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I explain to people, you've got a product type and the modifier. If it's beard oil, it's the product type. The modifier would be, say, organic, then you've got beard oil. It's basically written into all the literature for A9, and people are still skipping that part.
Yep.
And the problem with that is often the velocity, but it's about being super relevant and being realistic. It's the same with the working on the basis of the average price of the page. People still get that wrong. People are still going for perceived value. We've got the data that, as you've seen, we've backed out thousands of keywords. If you want positions 1, 2 and 3, not always, but in most cases, it's going to be the lowest price on the page in that area where you get the velocity. Then you've got to run the risk of trying to run PPC to get there. To get the conversion rate, which needs to be superior to most.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts, but we're trying to work on the probability factors there to make more informed choices. Unfortunately, where we are today, we are seeing an increase in cost and cost per click across everything. And if you want to stay ultra white hat, it's really one of the only ways forward to do it. But some stuff is just impossible. The numbers just do not work. You have to leave it alone.
Yeah.
And this is where external traffic and stuff comes in. So that's what we're working on at the moment, because it's a big problem to solve, but it's a lot of processing power to get there, Yeah.
I think first time in history, actually, Amazon reported that it's making more profits from Amazon advertising than it's doing from AVS. So that just blows my mind. We are donating these profits to Amazon.
We are paying for the party.
Yes, we are, and it's getting crazier.
I hope you're a shareholder.
The shareholder party at the new HQ too, right?
For us, we don't really deal with this beast. We chose markets that offer organic visibility right from the start. We have products that we use PPC, of course, as a launch tool, but we don't need it to survive on the market. So we are playing the markets. We don't go for the big dogs and deep pockets. So, and by the time the market saturates, our organic visibility and history is already that good that it's easier to maintain and also pay for the PPC because our quantities have gone up. So this is our strategy to tackle the situation. We tried the other way to be super competitive in PPC, and honestly, we couldn't pay this money.
And I think this is actually a really interesting concept and not one that existed a couple of years ago. Before it was, okay, let's come up with a really compelling product, spend 4 to 6 months getting that dialed, go in and then launch, rank organically, and then you'll supplement at launch and for maintenance mode pay-per-click. But I frankly would look at pay-per-click like a couple of weeks before we launch. Be like, yeah, I already did the keyword research. I know the product's good. I know the customer. It kind of took care of itself.
Yes, yes.
But starting with, I'm gonna actually look at CPCs. I'm gonna look at how competitive the market is before I even develop the product.
Yeah.
I think starting pay-per-click. I think that is a shift that needs to happen and is
Yes.
already
Yeah,
happening.
so
Yes,
Those
yes,
cost
and we're working like we are
projections.
really nitty gritty in it.
Yeah.
Our take at tacos is shouldn't be more than 10%. So that I
Yeah.
know this number is
Tacos has
magical.
gone up across the board, though.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the reality.
Yeah.
It's managing that, though.
Yeah. So we don't want to spend more.
Mm.
We used to spend a lot more.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not worth the fight. You know, when we have people come to us, and I'll be honest with them, like if they're on the decline, they're looking to save. I always say to people, build the product pipeline, keep turning the
Yes.
products, and find out a way to remove the pain from your business as quickly as possible
Yeah.
without being attached to the product.
Yeah.
If you've
Some
got a
stuff has to
pipe-
die. Some stuff has to die.
and I mean, like you had 10 failed in a row. Yeah, that's going to get more and more common
Yeah.
as it gets more sophisticated. Yeah, so it's now a game of sophistication and money in the bank, right? Amazon businesses are asset businesses. You make your money on exit. You need every bit of cash in your business to run it, right?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's like and I think it's
Yeah, it
it's
is.
going to become like a venture capital portfolio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to place 12 bets.
Yeah.
1 or 2 are going to kill it.
Mm.
2 or 3 are going to be okay, maybe make a little bit money.
Yeah.
1 or 2 are going to break even. The rest are going to be dogs.
Yeah.
And I think that's the philosophy. It's not, you got to have multiple bullets in the chamber and have a comfort level with a smaller percentage are going to be winners and
Yeah.
be able to understand, okay, this product's at year 3 of its life cycle. I now can't have the same expectations. I've got to go international with it, or I've
Yeah.
got to throw in more products in the portfolio. So
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting dynamic. The people that are on this are the ones that are going to come out the other side and win in this next
There's
era.
nothing more important than the actual product itself.
Yes.
Because all PPC does is an amplifier.
Yeah.
It's not magic. There is no magic,
Yes.
super duper secret camp. It's bollocks.
Yeah.
It's numbers.
It doesn't cause conversion. It causes impression.
You know,
Yeah.
you just another layer has been added now, and if you
Yeah.
skip watching this, you're gonna fail.
What I love about there's an analogy from Warren Buffett which I love. I know baseball. It doesn't make a lot of sense in Estonia. It's a baseball analogy, or the UK for that matter. But he basically just said, you know, a batter in the game of baseball, there's a set number of pitches. There's 3 strikes, 4 balls. Like at some point you're out of bat. But in Warren Buffett's example, as an investor, I could choose an infinite number of pitches.
Yeah.
I just got to pick the pitch that's right for me, right for my investment philosophy, and the one that I believe in. I think Amazon sellers is the same thing. You can select the market, you can select the product,
Yeah.
you can pick your pitch, and I think not forcing it and rushing into things and having a comfort level with some that are going to fail, I think is the way to go about it. So.
Yes.
Yeah, but what is interesting for me is like if you do 10 times you make the wrong bet, right? And
Painful.
like how much like money you have to like get it done right? So you can, if you don't have cash in the bank from an exit before or
Yes.
something, then you're broke after like 3 tries or something like
It is
like
true,
that.
that's true.
So how much can you be going further and further to find that product? So it's a tough one.
Yeah. Cool. So, moving on as we kind of land the podcast, let's talk about this space. I know we previously mentioned it before, the power of having all these brains together. Do you think that this is rubbed off on each other? Because you've got everyone in the same building and you're watching wins and losses and you're crossing over. Does that edge you guys on? Start me, Mark.
So it's not only the people here in this building, right? We have a bigger community. There's just like a part of the community is in this building.
Yeah.
But I think what's important is besides being here together, we also hang out to sauna, to karting, whatever, like summer days, Amazon seller summer days and so forth. And you have this unique opportunity like where you get a problem and you know you can solve it like, I don't know, in 2 months maybe or 1 month's time if you focus on it, but you know that other guy already done it.
Yeah.
So you just call and go, hey, how did you do that? Like, what are the steps? How did you figure this out? And you have like an answer like in 1 or 2 hours to implement in your business. And it's a huge benefit. That's one thing. And second is like inspiration. Like I remember those days a few years ago when it was like typical, like somebody brought the cake to the office. Hey, we hit 1 million. And everybody else is like, we have to hit 1 million now too. Then it was like, hey, we hit like what was it, like 1 million a day or something like that. No, it wasn't a million a day, 100K a day.
Yeah.
100K a day. You're like, wow. So now we have to do it. So it's a level of normal rises really fast.
Yeah. So basically tool sharpens tools, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And what's your take on it as well?
To me, it's the best part is that if I have a 5 years knowledge experience in Amazon and he has 7, so we add those two
Yeah.
experiences together. So we have. I love the fact that we're all open about it. This is something I would say unique, at least from my perspective. And we all talk openly about our issues.
Yeah.
We're not worried about competing each other. So we kind of, I would say, complete.
Is
each
there an
other.
unwritten rule, like you don't go into each other's categories or anything
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
share brand
yes,
names? Do
yeah.
you guys know each
Yeah,
other?
yeah.
Yes, we do know.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
we know
That's
our
huge.
products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has never been.
But I
That's,
would
a,
make
that's
it-
a collective group respect thing, right? Meaning if someone went to do that, everyone would frown in the group. Does that make sense? So it's like that unwritten.
Yeah.
It keeps everyone accountable. It's like we want to keep that vibe right. So I won't touch. Oh, that looks like a good product, but I'm not going there because such and such. Do you see what I mean? It's the market.
I mean, we
respect.
had a case that a guy was looking for a job. He came for interview with me,
Yeah.
and then in the corridor I met with Ardo, and he said, "Oh, he also came to interview with us, but they were more interested, and actually they needed him more."
Yeah.
So I mean, I backed up and said, "Okay, fine, that's it." So
That's great.
I mean, there should be a respect. Without
Yeah, exactly.
again,
But it's nice,
that.
isn't it? It's accountability thing.
But I would make it even like broader. One thing is that we have the Estonian Amazon community here, and like many of us work in this co-working space together. But we had like we were looking for new office spaces actually because our team was growing and like just the walls are not made out of rubber, right? So we were thinking, okay, we were looking at different new offices and like my heart was bleeding, but we were thinking, okay, we have to leave as we are not fitting the team here anymore. But I really love the other people, like not Amazon people here in the space as well. If it's related to marketing, it's related to taxes, it's related to stock options or investing into whatever new startup or whatever. And like, just like 2 weeks ago, I talked with a CPA who helped me with the bookkeeping and that stuff. Just he works here, right? And I need a second option for my book from my CPA that I have in the US, but he's also a CPA for US. And I just like, hey, can you help me, right? So like, and like, or yeah, some needed to understand how the stock options work for if you want to give out to make it part owners in the company, for example. I was able to ask another guy. So there's so many other good talents in this office space that I can like talk to and get knowledge out of. So that I really cherish this a lot.
It reminds me of App Store. There's an app for that. So whatever issue you have, there is a guy for that. So if you don't know if there is a guy, then we just post in our group, and there is always somebody who comes up. So.
And I remember the story that we had the fridge here and like you have food in it, right? But somehow we need to pay for it. And like one guy in the hub programmed the website for it so that you can purchase the food from the refrigerator and pay for it.
Yeah. So
right? We had a problem and we got the solution straight from the hub.
instantly.
Yeah,
So
instantly.
to wrap this, why don't we go around the Estonian guys? We're on the podcast all the time.
Yeah,
Why don't we go round and one piece of advice for Amazon sellers from each of you? Starting with you, put you on the spot first so they can get their ideas together.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's putting me on the spot. One piece of advice. Yeah, I think it's nothing new, but you get what you measure. So if the margins are down, if your profits are down, then you have to be really focusing on profit. Measure your profit every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. So really drill down on the profit, and if you focus on that, you can improve it. But if you don't measure it, if it's kind of I'm making some sort of profit, it's good, right? But if you measure it and keep a really close eye on it, you are able to improve it.
Yeah. And yourself?
You mentioned profits. I'm gonna continue with the same. Nowadays, profits are made in China. So just China, China, whatever from whatever you source. The whole point is that that's you make a profit, especially nowadays from the sourcing. And China is very hungry for us. So
It's good.
it's time to renegotiate.
Mate?
Yeah. I would just reiterate what was already mentioned here. It's really good to have a good product pipeline to continuously bring out products. If it's 1, 2, or 3, or 4 a quarter, just keep it going, and you have that going, then it's okay. If some of them fall off, you have enough to succeed in the long run.
Yeah. And yourself?
for starting Amazon sellers, I would suggest to find a nice group like we have here to share the knowledge, and then you'll be
Be
like
part of a mastermind somewhere.
Yeah.
that would be great, I think. And personally, I think that product quality and this is the most important for us. I think that we are selling the products that have health claims has to work.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, then
Yeah.
it's I wanted to say a dirty word, but
Indeed.
It's not good.
Well, guys, look, thank you again for joining us for this part 2. Guys, I'll be back next week. Sharon will be up next. Thank you, Adam, also for co-hosting. Take care of yourself and your family. Much love.